Welcome to the Localization Fireside Chat. I'm Robin Ayub, your host. Join me for captivating conversations with industry leaders exploring localization, translation, and global communication. Ignite your curiosity as we expand your horizons through these conversations. So let's dive in together into the Localization Fireside Chat.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Localization Fireside Chat podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Robin Ayub. I'm the founder of this platform, and for those who aren't familiar with me, it's a pleasure to meet you. And hopefully, if you want to get to know me a little bit better, look me up on LinkedIn or just Google me, and happy to connect with you. You can find out more about this channel by visiting our YouTube and looking up Localization Fireside Chat or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. So we are also on all the podcast platforms. Today, I'm honored to have with me my good friend, Charles Campbell. He's a friend of this channel. This is his third time, and hopefully we get to see you more and more of you, Charles, and share this conversation that we've started together. You were early guest on the channel when they started 6 months ago, and thanks for your supporting the channel. I appreciate your support to this channel. So today we thought we'd talk about your upcoming conference, Vamos Juntos, that's coming up, and hopefully we can share with the audience, create a little bit of an excitement. I've heard a lot about Vamos Juntos. It's the buzz now. It's on LinkedIn. It's on the internet. A lot of people are talking about it. Hopefully we use this time today to tell the audience a little bit more about Vamos Juntos, why they should attend, and hopefully that contributes positively to your efforts. So the floor is yours, Charles. Tell a little bit people who don't know you yet, who's the first time listeners to the channel. Who are you and what is Vamos Juntos?
Thank you very much. That's a great introduction, Robin. It's a pleasure to be here again. Yeah, third time lucky. I certainly enjoy talking to you and getting the word out. So my name is Charles Campbell, as you just said. I'm originally from New Zealand, believe it or not. I've been living, citizen of the world. I've been living in Argentina for like 27 years. It's amazing. I got my degree in New Zealand and I didn't even stick around for graduation. And here I am living in the wilds of South America. So I work at a leading company called TBO. Of course, it's in the background here, and I have my TBO talent hat on, shamelessly pitching our new talent brand. TBO is a leading translation and talent provider with offices in Argentina, Peru, Vietnam, and Ukraine. And it's a really exciting organization, very passionate team. I love working here and just great people around the world connecting, talking all day long, conversations, stories, creating value. And I'm a board member of Juntos. Juntos in English means together, or in Portuguese, Juntos. It's spelled the same, but the meaning is together. And Juntos is an association that represents translation, localization, and interpreting companies in Latin America and the Caribbean. So we have basically embarked on this journey of trying to represent translation, interpreting, and localization companies in this very vast region, over 400 million people, mostly Spanish and Portuguese, but of course there's many other languages in the region, indigenous languages, Haitian Creole, the list goes on. Many similarities throughout the region, but also many, many differences. So really exciting. And the reason why we started Juntos, myself and the other board members who are from Brazil, Peru, Puerto Rico, and Mexico, is that we felt that there was a total lack of representation on a regional level in Latin America and the Caribbean. You know, you have EA in the European Union representing the industry there. You have EU ATC, you have the national associations, you have ALEA in Canada and ALC in the United States, and then there was just nothing in Latin America and the Caribbean. So we started Juntos, supranational group to represent the entire region. And it's just been amazing, amazing. First of all, we're getting to know our own region. We're getting to know people from other countries and hear all their stories and identify with the issues that they're facing, benchmarking, networking, coaching, mentoring, all the ings are taking place. And it's just fascinating because you learn what is similar about your experience and what's easy for you and what's tough for you and how similar but also different things are in another country. And we had an executive meeting in Lima, Peru, a year ago, well, a year and a few months ago, just coming out of the pandemic down there. And we had amazing food. And we said, we've got to do an event in Lima. But at that time, we chose to do our first event in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro in March 2023, because Brazil is the biggest country in Latin America and the Caribbean. So we thought we would start there. It's also geographically in the middle, halfway north, halfway south. So we had an amazing event in Rio. We thought we would get like 20 to 30 people. It would be like an executive retreat. Ended up being a fully blown conference with 57 people from 14 different countries. We had sponsors, Plunet, MemoQ, Multilingual Magazine. It was just fantastic. The feedback on the conference was that the speakers were excellent. The venue was amazing, was very affordable, right in front of the beach in Rio de Janeiro. So it was a wonderful experience, a great way to start Juntos. And we had a wide range of speakers talking about things like standards in the translation industry, continuous education in the translation industry. We had a CEO panel. We had a presentation on the translation industry in Brazil and how difficult it is to do business there. We also had a presentation from Renato Beninato of NIMSI about Latin America and all its potential. It was just great. Really, really excited. We had another presentation about how to sell your company. It was a real mixed bag of topics, and there was something for everyone. And the idea is that we move it around. So the next Vamos Juntos conference is going to be in Lima. Also, if you look at the map, Lima is just basically west of Rio. It's like a couple thousand miles west, but it's in the same part of the middle of South America in terms of north-south. So you got great weather, great cuisine, seafront venue at the JW Marriott Hotel in Lima. Peru is an amazing country to visit. I mean, it is one of the most visited countries in the world. The wealth and richness, the variety of cuisine, of customs. You have the Amazon, you have the Nazca lines in the south of Peru, you have Machu Picchu and Cusco, the ancient ruins that are, of course, the star attraction. And then you have the beaches. And the city of Lima itself, where Vamos Juntos will take place, is considered to be one of the best places to eat in the world. I mean, it's up there with like French cuisine. It just costs half of what it costs to eat in France. So what an amazing place. And I've been going to Peru for, first time was in 1999, but I've been doing business in Peru. We have a team there at TBO. We've had a team there since 2011. And I've had the good fortune to travel there once or twice a year ever since. And I've always had wonderful experience. I mean, between ceviche and pisco sour, you can't go wrong. People are very friendly, and there is quite a vibrant translation and localization and interpreting community there. They've had a lot of international conferences. They had the Pan American Games. There's a lot going on. It's a great place to be, great place to visit.
So one of the, I agree with you, like from a conference perspective, where the location is being picked at Lima, Peru, it sounds like an exciting place to visit. And you guys sound like you have an excellent program for people to take advantage of, on a variety of things: learning, connection, networking, education. That's what those conferences are for generally, and plus enjoy the surrounding. And the other thing too is I notice specifically in our industry, gives people the opportunity to get to know a region that generally they translate to, but they never visited. So many people from outside the region, they've translated to Spanish, or they translated to a specific content directed to Lima, Peru, for instance, but they never really visited that area. So it's not just necessarily for what we're talking about right now. I feel like it should, for people who are not part of those, they don't visit those areas often. It's a good opportunity to do that now. So, and good for you guys for choosing that way.
we're in the translation, interpreting, and localization industry, but we don't necessarily all have James Bond's travel budget to, jump around the world. But most people who are in this industry love languages and like traveling or love traveling or have some international connection to language and to other peoples and cultures. So we'll always be moving around. In fact, we've already talked about it being in Cancun in Mexico in 2025. So obviously we're planning ahead, and maybe Argentina. I mean, it makes for a really exciting way to combine a fascinating networking opportunity, a learning opportunity, as I said, mentoring and benchmarking and coaching as well, which historically has been lacking in Latin America and the Caribbean. Also, you can tack on to the event, a side trip to Cusco or whatever, team building exercises, meet your local translators, have some time off. It's just a wonderful way to do it. And we're busy. I can tell you that organizing a conference, whatever the size, is hard work. And, we're not professional conference organizers. Myself and the other board members, we all run translation, interpreting, and localization companies or work in them. So we're all donating our time for free, but because we find it really exciting, and we think that whatever we put in, we get back double or triple. So right now we've signed the contract with the JW Marriott, which is exciting. It's a little bit bureaucratic, as you can imagine, but it's a seafront destination, rooftop bar. Pre-conference workshop has been scheduled with Go Canada, Brian Montpetit from Canada and Kristen Gutierrez from Los Angeles, California. They will be giving a pre-conference workshop on enhancing your sales with AI. That title may change or mutate over the next few months, but that's basically the crux of what they're going to talk about. It's going to be a full day pre-conference workshop. We're about to launch the call for speakers. So if anyone wants to come down or come up to Lima and present, we're accepting possible speakers on a very, very wide range of topics. And we'd like to have as diverse an array of speakers as possible. We're hoping we don't, repeat topics or repeat speakers from last year. So that's exciting. And we're also looking for a keynote speaker. Keynote speakers, wherever you are, give us a call. So it's really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. Conferences really are a great way to connect. I've written a few pieces lately on remote working, and I've been sort of playing the devil's advocate about whether or not remote working or in-house working is best. And so I wrote a piece. The first piece said, remote working is rubbish. It stirred up a lot of opinion. And then the second piece said that, people who work at the office waste a lot of time at the water cooler and not getting things done. So I've been playing the devil's advocate about remote working. But what I will say is that when you work remote, one of the most amazing things about working remote is when you get to meet up with people again, together. So I'm really excited personally that I'm going to be at the Association of Language Companies in conference in Portland next week. I've never been to Portland, Oregon before, so that's pretty cool. And we'll be attending the Localization Woke World Conference in San Jose, California in October. And these events are a chance to meet people, break bread, have a drink, hash through issues, learn new things. It's just amazing. I don't know where this industry would be if we didn't have these conferences. We'd all be all alone at home, going nuts. So I'm really excited. And I think that Vamos Juntos is essential in that regard for Latin America and the Caribbean, because there was just nothing happening on a regional level. So you had occasional conferences in Brazil or Peru or Mexico for translators only, maybe interpreters as well, but not company owners or managers or leaders. And in Argentina, there was a bit of everything going on. Argentina is a pretty active, noisy, loud place in terms of translation, localization, and interpreting activity. There's just such an ecosystem down here. But it was disconnected on a regional level. So now we're having Vamos Juntos, which is just an amazing way for people from North America and Europe and Latin America and the Caribbean to all get together and share ideas.
So for our audience, Charles, this all sounds exciting. How do they, you ask for speakers, or keynote speakers. If somebody's interested, how do they reach out? And if somebody's interested in registering? Do you guys have something up that you can share here, or we can share later? Any advice on how to connect with you or somebody who represent Vamos Juntos?
Sure. I mean, I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. Seem to be the first degree connection with about everybody in the industry. Um,
Yep.
so that's me. But also, if you look on LinkedIn for Juntos Association, it'll immediately pop up. Alternatively, I'll give you an email address, Robin, where you can write to the person that is filtering the incoming presentations for Ramos Juntos. His name is Rafael Sousa from Brazil. He was the guy that did all the groundwork for our event in Rio. Amazing guy. So I'll give you the email address, and you can distribute that if you like.
And we'll put that email on the screen here for people who are watching this on YouTube. They'll be able to take it down and connect with you as well. So yeah, if you can provide those that information, we'll include it in our final cut of this episode together. So I appreciate that. Anything else you'd like to add on Juntos before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I'm just really passionate about Juntos, and it's a no-brainer in terms of being involved. There's nothing to lose. Juntos organizes events like Vamos Juntos that are very affordable. I mean, literally a third of the cost of an event in North America or Europe. So you're saving $1,000 as compared to attending an event in North America and Europe, and that will pay for your airfare. So there you go.
That's right.
It's
That's
just
right.
a
And
no-brainer.
plus you're going to be hanging out in a very nice place.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, doing events in Toronto or Copenhagen or wherever is also really nice. But Latin America is a region of the world that is underrepresented in terms of translation companies, interpreting companies, and localization companies. I mean, if you look at the reports that IMSI or Common Sense Advisory Slater produces, it seems to show a really rich ecosystem. But then when you talk about dollars and cents, it's like, whoa, 1% of the world market, what's happening? Whereas in Argentina, everybody seems to know a translator has a translator in their family. Like, gosh, there's like 50,000 translators in Argentina. How can we all collectively on a regional level only be 1% of the global industry? And I guess that's just because the companies need to up their game. They need to raise the bar, produce more value, because the human beings that are out there in the industry are doing the work and creating value, but the companies are not worth what companies in the Northern Hemisphere are worth, not generating the same amount of value. So that's what it's all about. We're raising the bar. We've got to adopt more standards. We got a network, we got a coach, we got a mentor, and you give back, and it all sort of comes back to you, I believe.
And I feel like the initiative that you guys have created is very exciting, to be honest with you. When you looked at it and you thought, okay, instead of doing this on a country by country basis, let's wrap our arms around the entire region and create an initiative that represents everybody in the Latin American and Caribbean region. So this is a great event that you guys are creating, and for a region that is, as you mentioned, underrepresented, needs to be, I would feel like, I think I concur with you and I agree with you that it needs to be better represented, more elevated, better value articulated. And what you guys are doing is phenomenal in terms of bringing this together. So absolutely agree with you. I hope the audience take notes of this. I hope the audience feel excited enough to attend Vamos Juntos in Lima, Peru. I think it's going to be a wonderful event. I have no doubt. You guys are a young association. You're trying to put your best foot forward. You're trying to impress. It's not going to be a plus the cost that you mentioned earlier. And you're absolutely correct. The cost in some cases in an industry that is, let's face it, not everybody has the same profitability. Maybe a little, pinched in terms of expenses. But in your case, in the case of Vamos Juntos, you provide a good alternative from a cost perspective. So great to see this, and I will continue my personal effort to support and help and push as much as I can to elevate.
I want to see you there. See you there in Lima, Robin. You're going to really enjoy it. Latin America and the Caribbean is just one of those parts of the world that everyone wants to go to or wants to go back to. And a lot of people in the translation, interpreting, and localization industry in North America, especially in the United States, but also in Canada, do have a strong connection to Latin America. A lot of the people who founded some of the pioneer translation companies in the 1980s had either been in the military in Latin America or the Caribbean, or had been missionaries in the Latin America and the Caribbean, or were from families that had come from Latin America and the Caribbean. So there's a strong connection, and I don't see that going anywhere but up in terms of the degree of interconnectivity in our industry. As it is today, companies like TBO provide services to like the entire translation, interpreting, and localization industry in North America, Canada, and the USA in terms of multilingual translation and staffing solutions, talent solutions. So, the industries are interconnected, and Vamos Juntos is a great way to take that interconnection off the internet and get it to the dinner table.
Absolutely. Now, I know I'm itching to ask about the second topic that I want to get at today since we've met anyway, so may as well address two important topics. The first one was Vamos Juntos, and the next one I'm going to try to tackle is, in capitalizing on our last conversation when we talked about rebranding, how is it going with the rebranding of TBO? And give us a status on that.
Well, rebranding, think about Juntos. We started out as the Association of Language Companies of Latin America and the Caribbean. Was it Latin American Association of Language? I mean, it was unpronounceable. It was like ALC-ALS or ALS-ALC, which of course could be confused with Association of Language Companies, American Sign Language. I mean, we didn't even remember our own name ourselves. And at TBO, we were translation back office, and my email was ridiculously long. It was translationbackoffice.com. And people around the office and clients had been talking about us and referring to us as TBO for a long, long time. And I would literally, this is about 4 years ago, speak to people in the office and say, we're not TBO, we're translation back office. And I would correct them. And it was just so silly because it was me against the tidal wave. And it was so much simpler, so much easier, so much more modern, and so much fresher. And everybody loves the change. Clients love it, vendors love it, employees love it. I love it. And it's so much shorter and easier to say. Now, I don't know if we had started out the company 20 years ago as TBO, if that would have made sense. TBO makes sense because everybody knows that we were translation back office. If we'd started out as TBO, people might have confused us with HBO or something, what you like, little brother of HBO or something. We were able to make the transition from translation back office to TBO because translation back office had become so well known, such great brand recognition, a lot of net promotion happening, people calling us up out of the blue with recommendations from other people. So that's why TBO has been a success. And Juntos is the same thing in the sense that it's fresher, it's more modern, but also it's really good for two other reasons. First of all, if you are an association representing translation, interpreting, localization companies in Latin America and the Caribbean, where the main languages are Spanish and Portuguese, why would you have your association named in English? So we were an association. And it makes so much more sense in terms of a cultural vibe. So we love it. And it's just so much easier to write. And we've gotten great recognition from everybody about the Juntos name. And secondly, Juntos means something. It means together, which is just fantastic. I love Juntos. I think Juntos is the best brand ever. And the people that are working in Juntos are wonderful people from diverse backgrounds, a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of calls, my gosh, a lot of calls, talking things through, getting it off the ground, getting an association going is really hard work. And luckily, Juntos, has a little bit of money in the bank now, and we're just, we've achieved this recognition of our name, and we're expecting literally double the number of attendees in Lima than what we had in Rio. So that's just amazing.
So congratulations. I mean, I truly love the names or the brands that means something good. For instance, when you mentioned Together is an absolutely reflective of what you're trying to do. What you're trying to achieve is to come together, to be together in order for us to build a network of companies in Latin America and the Caribbean. So it's very representative of what you're trying to do. Now, when you've rebranded from a long name to a short name, TBO I'm referring to, so I guess you told me last time that there are a lot of people who knew you as TBO, and as you mentioned earlier here, that the TBO was a recognized name already. So, but I know that you're doing some socialization of the new name in a variety of venues, and not because you wanted to tell the people about TBO, because everybody knows who TBO is now, I guess, from our industry, but you're trying to tell a story on the talent, TBO talent, and that's an important one. I guess there's a couple of discussions going on in a couple of conferences. I saw like some post on that you'd be doing some conversations on the matter. Can you elaborate a little bit on TBO talent and the socialization aspect of that, and two birds in one stone, the new name and TBO talent, I guess?
Sure. So TBO, I mean, one of the other reasons why we did the change is because TBO isn't just about translation. There are actually 5 T's. Yeah, 5. The 5 T's are translation, talent, training, teams, and testing. And the reason why I can easily remember this is because I have it on a new, you can't see this, but it's a new mouse pad.
I see it now.
So it's very easy for me to remember. Translation, talent, training, teams, and testing. And those are the 5 areas of business at TBO. At the moment, translation and talent are by far the dominant business areas, but the others are growing too. So I'm wearing a TBO talent hat. TBO talent is going to be at Loc World with exhibiting, with a booth or a stand. We're also going to be a sponsor. We're also sponsoring the Women in Localization 15th Anniversary Gala Ball. We're going to be at the Association of Language Companies next week. I'm going to be there in Portland. We're sponsoring that event too. Really excited. Know so many people there, great people, and looking forward to that. TBO Talent basically is all about connecting talent to opportunity. There is a critical talent shortage in many locations around the world, especially in North America and Western Europe, and to the point where companies are struggling to find and struggling to keep the people that they need. Our industry has become a lot more sophisticated in the last 20 years than it used to be. It used to be you just loved to know the language, loved to travel, didn't necessarily need to know anything about technology. In fact, you could have been anti-technology, and you could have, I don't like technology, therefore I'm working in the translation industry. I mean, there's people would say things like that. Whereas, we've really upped our game and become a much more sophisticated industry, requiring a much more sophisticated skill set. So that has put the companies under strain in terms of finding the right people, because it's really hard to find people, it's really hard to keep people. And like Google is just around the corner waiting to snatch your best project manager and pay them double, whisk them off to California. So TBO Talent is all about providing project managers, localization engineers, interpreting coordinators, desktop publishers, talent managers, community managers, vendor managers, like 30 different job descriptions that we currently provide to translation, interpreting, and localization companies in North America, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and Asia. So we are busy. There's a lot of demand for our services. We have been doing this, for 18 years. I believe we've created a great brand, a great reputation. We get a lot of work that just comes in through net promotion, which is always a good way of knowing that you're doing a good thing, because people are recommending you spontaneously to others. And that's a great way to make sales these days, because people don't want to be sold to, but when people want to buy, they want to buy right away. So we're providing talent to the industry, and that's exciting. And the talent we provide, I mean, I'm heavily involved in this part of the business. are extremely committed, very loyal, a lot of support, just great people, wonderful people. So, we're creating value and it's a win-win. It's a win-win-win for everybody involved. And I really I spend like 80% of my working day on TBO talent at the moment. We're also working on other things, TBO Lock, TBO Play, TBO Media. There'll be more news about these different things that are going on at TBO in the future. But our current focus in terms of what we're doing at ALC and Lock World is definitely centered on TBO talent. So yeah, exciting times. And I got my flashy new hat delivered yesterday. So
And for the audience, if you're interested in the hat that my friend Charles is wearing, all you have to do is visiting them at the booth in the ALC conference or at Loc World, and they'll be happy to chat with you and provide you with a swag that you probably of your favorite. I'm sure you have more than just a hat at the booth, but that's not the only reason people should visit you. But it's one of those. We joke a little bit about the reason why should people visit you, and like everybody goes to conferences to collect some swags and souvenirs, which is fine. But its most important thing to do is to sit down and have a conversation, a serious conversation about your needs for talent. You bring up a very serious topic, which is the shortage of talent. And yes, there is a new technology. Yes, it is causing a little bit of a less demand on talent. But from the surface, it looks that way, but that's not true. Talents are still in high demand. Talents are still being competed for. And the other part of talent is the cost of those talents. So as economic pressure being felt across the Western world and many other parts of the world, people are running to the idea of the method of running businesses to lessen expenses, reduce expenses. So how do you do that is by try to figure out a way to deliver your services still at a higher standard, but lesser cost. And I'm assuming that's part of your pitch as well there, Charles. Availability of talents at a lesser cost. Is that what I'm hearing, or no?
Well, I certainly never sell on cost. It usually comes up at the very, very end of a conversation. What I'm promoting is commitment, loyalty, and experience, and creating value. There's always going to be someone cheaper. There's always going to be someone more expensive. So I don't think cost is the central factor involved. What we're really about is commitment, loyalty, experience, getting the job done, sticking it out, creating value for customers. So, these are unusual times in the international economy. We're in a recession. I mean, what? I don't see a recession really hitting our industry, but there's certainly pressures, and it's not easy to do business. But who said it was meant to be easy? Gosh, it's I don't when was business ever easy? So we're just working, and I'm coming into the office most days. Occasionally working from home, where I combine, family time, other commitments with my 2-month-old baby daughter and my 3 other kids, my wife. But when I come into the office, I'm passionate about being with other people, meeting people, and talking about talent. Talent is just an ongoing conversation, and TBO endeavors to lead that discussion in our industry in terms of providing talent. So that's what we're getting. That's the message that we're out there spreading at the moment.
Absolutely. And look, thanks again for the update. I really appreciate it. And for our audience today, I've got a conclusion on this one is 2 things. One is remember to look up Juntos 2024 in Lima, Peru. Make every effort to attend. Contact Charles if you feel like you want to contribute in terms of being a speaker or keynote speaker. And also the second part that it is equally important is talent. If you need talents, you don't have access to talent, or you need some specific talents that you probably need some support on, please contact my friend Charles, and he'll be happy with his team to respond to your requirements. So TBO, congratulations on the new brand. Congratulations on the activities you guys are taking on. Those activities, especially when you live in Argentina and you got to travel across the continent to attend events, etc. They're not easy, but especially with young family and you have to take time off from your office and your family, it's not easy to do. But like everybody else in this industry, I see us sacrificing a lot. And this is part of because we believe passionately about what we do. And this is no difference here. Charles is an extremely a believer of our industry and passionate about our industry. And that's why he does what he does. So.
Well, thank you so much. That's kind words. And yes, I really enjoy my work. Really enjoy meeting people. And as I said, looking forward to the ALC. Looking forward to Love World. Come by and get some merchandising material. Have some Argentinian alfajores, and of course, Vamos Juntos is going to be a real hit. So thank you so much.
Thanks again, Charles. I really appreciate your time today. And for our audience, if you like what we do on this channel, please subscribe to our channel so you can be alerted when a new episode comes out. And please feel free also to check out our previous episodes. We have now close to about 40 guests that came to this channel. We record these episodes on a weekly basis and we publish them every Tuesday morning. So it's a regular event in here. And I want to share this also with the audience that if you are interested in becoming a speaker or have an opinion you want to give on this channel, please contact me personally. And we are booked now till almost end of December. But it's great. We've got a lot of reputable individuals who wants, like Charles and many others that spoke on this channel, that would like to share their opinion. And this is what I intended to do when I launched this platform, this community. And it's turning out to be a great medium for people to share their thoughts and connect with others. So I appreciate your time, Charles. Many, many thanks for attending this call with me today. And I wish you best of luck in everything you do.
Thank you so much. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Localization Fireside Chat. Take the warmth of knowledge and renewed cultural passion with you. Keep exploring. Stay curious. And until next time, this is Robin Ayub. Keep those global conversations alive.